When Captain Laura Ames first encountered the alien girl, she was hunched inside a scorched escape pod half buried in the dunes of Tau Ceti V. The distress beacon had pinged weakly, almost missed among the solar flare static, but Laura's curiosity had tugged at her stronger than her orders. She was scouting for viable terraforming zones, not lost aliens. But something in that signal had sounded personal. The alien was small, lithe, with iridescent skin that shimmered faintly violet under Tau Ceti's blue sun. Her eyes, too large for her narrow face, blinked slowly as she looked up at Laura, then collapsed into her arms. Laura brought her aboard the Hawthorne, running a full bioscan. Her physiology was odd. 2 stomachs, a quadruple helix genome, and something unusual in her digestive tract that the scanner flagged as unknown crystalline mass. But the girl was stable, just dehydrated and frightened. Laura gave her a blanket, some water and time. "Name?" Laura asked softly. "Zira," the girl whispered, clutching the blanket like a shield. Zira didn't speak much the first few days, but she listened. She followed Laura around the ship like a quiet shadow, watching her work, watching how humans moved. She flinched at loud noises and would often curl up in corners with her eyes open and distant, haunted by something she wouldn't share. Laura didn't press. Trauma took time. Then one morning, the cleaning bot alerted Laura to a biological anomaly in the ship's waste system. Normally, that meant an undigested vitamin capsule or malfunctioning organic filter. This time it flagged something shiny. Laura unscrewed the collector tray and blinked. Sapphire. No, several sapphires. Perfectly cut. Impossibly perfect. Her first thought was absurd. Did Zira bring jewelry on board? Hide it in the waste system. But the ship had full scans on entry. These hadn't been here before. That's when she remembered the bioscan report. Unknown crystalline mass. In the digestive tract. It took all her willpower not to jump to conclusions. Zira. Laura began carefully. "Can we talk?" The alien girl was sitting cross-legged in the observation bay, watching Tau Ceti's twin moons. Her skin glowed faintly in the darkness. Laura held out the sapphire. Zira stared at it, then sighed deeply. "You found it. You made this." Zira nodded. "How?" The silence stretched. "In my world," Zira finally said, "our bodies evolved differently. Certain enzymes, rare in your biology, allow us to break down and reform mineral elements. It's a slow process, painful, but efficient. Our digestive system converts waste minerals into structured crystalline forms. In some cases, precious stones." Laura's jaw worked soundlessly. Zira looked embarrassed, maybe even ashamed. "On your world, these stones are valuable, aren't they?" Zira asked quietly. "They're worth more than entire planets in some cases," Laura said truthfully. Zira looked away. "Where I come from, we're considered defective. My caste is a genetic offshoot. We produce these crystals as a biological side effect. The others see it as waste. An embarrassment. You're telling me your people exile you because you poop treasure?" Zira winced at the word, but nodded. "The royal houses saw it as a disgrace. They called us refuse-born. I was to be sterilized. I ran instead." Laura stared at the sapphire again. It sparkled innocently in the starlight. "Zira, this could change everything." Within weeks, Laura had quietly routed her ship off course and back toward Earth. She didn't tell Central Command, not yet. She logged her mission as delayed due to a non-hostile biological first contact. The bureaucrats wouldn't know how to process what she was bringing home. Back on Earth, Zira was kept in a secured suite within the orbital research habitat. Laura ensured she had privacy, comfort, and autonomy. Not cages. Not needles. She also arranged for a discreet team of xenobiologists, mineralogists, and economists. Once Zira confirmed her ability wasn't just a fluke, tests began, delicately and voluntarily. She could, indeed, produce gem-quality crystalline structures through dietary supplementation and rest cycles. Not just sapphires. With proper trace minerals, she could create rubies, emeralds, even rare diamonds. It wasn't magic. It was alien bioalchemy. The implications shattered Earth's economy before a single gem hit the market. Laura watched as projections flooded in. Artificial gem markets collapsed overnight. Gold and precious stones, once hoarded as wealth symbols, sank in value. But something new emerged. Scientists began experimenting with Zira's process. Her enzyme-laced crystals had properties beyond Earth's natural stones. Flawless conductivity, perfect lattice alignment, even quantum entanglement stability. They weren't just pretty. They were useful. Humanity's future pivoted almost overnight. Supercomputing took a leap. Medical lasers grew more precise. Energy storage cells tripled in capacity. And with synthetic biopathways now reverse-engineered from Zira's enzymes, humans began tweaking their own biochemistry. By year 3, Zira Tech was its own megacorporation, though Zira refused ownership. "I didn't want to be known for what my body makes," she told Laura once. "I wanted to be known for who I am." But her name was already legend. What surprised everyone, though, wasn't the economic shift. It was the philosophical one. For millennia, humanity equated wealth with scarcity. With Zira's gift, that scarcity dissolved. People began to ask, if value isn't based on rarity, what is it based on? Art, creativity, compassion, expression. A renaissance bloomed in her wake. And Laura, always by her side, watched humanity become something better. But not everyone was thrilled. Zira's former people, the Viral, eventually noticed the change. They sent emissaries, then warships. Not for her return, but to demand rights. They claimed Zira's genome as their sovereign property. Earth refused. The first galactic case was held at the Neutral Cradle Station, attended by thousands of species. The Viral argued tradition, bloodlines, and territorial biopatent. Earth argued personhood. And Zira stood in the center, no longer ashamed. "I was discarded," she said, her voice echoing in the chamber. "Not because I was broken. Because I was useful in a way they didn't understand." Humanity saw something different. Not waste. Not shame. Worth. The ruling was unanimous. Zira was a sentient individual with autonomy. Her biology could not be owned. And thus the precedent was set, across the stars. Years later, as Laura sat in a quiet garden overlooking the Martian forests, she looked up to see Zira walking toward her. The alien girl, now a woman, moved with grace and quiet strength. "There's something I want to show you," Zira said, holding out her hand. Inside her palm wasn't a gemstone. It was a tiny, glimmering seed. Crystalline yet alive. "I've learned to make more than just jewels," Zira smiled. "These grow. They store sunlight, data, even memories. They're art, Laura. And I want to share them." Laura blinked, her throat tight. "You did all this. You changed everything." Zira tilted her head, the Martian wind teasing her silver-white hair. "No," she said gently. "You did. You saw me when no one else would." And in that moment Laura realized. It had never been about the jewels. It was about value. The kind only humanity, at its best, could recognize in others. And thanks to one girl who pooped priceless gems, the future had never looked brighter.